have been followed on the journey by Cannibal and Virgin Game. To a place where mysteries will unravel, questions will be answered, and unthinkable acts committed.
Nestled deep in the heart of Oregon, lurking amidst the quaint bed and breakfast dens of a small one-horse town they call Jacksonville, we find a company that has changed the face of global entertainment forever. The company's name is Twilight.
Well, we decided that there was a big new medium out there which involved CD-ROM. And this big new medium, CD-ROM, needed a definitive product, and the seventh guest seemed to fit into that. Needed something with power and passion and drama and story and animation and graphics and multimedia and sound overlays, and we were the people to do that.
We were chosen right by God.
Twilight is the brainchild of Green Divine and Rob Landeros, who met in the summer of 1988 while working for Virgin Games. Both computer fanatics from a young age, Divine was actually expelled from school for taking an unauthorized vacation to finish programming his first video game, a classic coin-op pole position.
So I took a week off school and finished it up. And it looked pretty good, and Charlie was happy, and everything was good. Went back to school with a note saying I'd taken a week off school to finish up this game. Didn't lie. Didn't say I had the flu, which is what I should have done. And took it into school, and everyone at school went, okay, you're expelled.
Both Divine and Landeros drew upon their colorful past and interests in the macabre to breathe life into the seventh guest.
And the whole horror genre really appealed to us, doing an interactive version of Clue combined with David Lynch-like effects. This is what we basically outlined to Matthew. We have this house is going to be haunted, and the villain's going to be an evil toy maker, and his house is going to be filled with evil toys.
With a groundbreaking game like The Seventh Guest, it was necessary to enlist the talents of the professional horror novelist, Matthew Costello.
As I said, when I got involved to write the script for The Seventh Guest, which is essentially another writing job, a lot of people say this is freelance, from job to job. It was a nice job, a decent job, but nothing I thought of unusual note. It's only when I got involved and I saw what Twilight was actually up to, and I realized that something was potential for something extraordinary here. Most people who write novels are used to telling one story. They tell a story in sequence from beginning to end with 2 or 3 viewpoints. And that's a nice, neat way to work. You can just sit down every day and move the story a little bit further. My first writing was games, an interactive game novel, and then interactive role-playing adventures for Batman, for games like Call of Duty, which is a horror game, or science fiction interactive novel. So I was used to handling multiple plots. So when this came up, it was something I was familiar with, cutting and dicing. What I wasn't prepared for was the fact that this really had to be a film script in about 50 or 60 seconds.
Originally, we were going to try to find a Gothic-style Victorian house and take cameras in there and take a bunch of photographs of the interiors, kind of a 360-degree pan of interior of various rooms. But that became unfeasible, and it wasn't until Robert Stein came around and showed us how we could render, that it was truly feasible to render a room in 3D Studio.
Okay, this is the first module of 3D Studio's 5 modules. This is called the 2D Shaper. In it we can create a 2D shape like this circle. We import the circle into the next module called the 3D Lofter. This circle can be moved along a path. In this case we have a straight path in which we'll move our circle. A preview will give us an example of what the object would look like in 3D. Once we've decided to make our object, we can move that object and all other objects we make into the 3D editor. We can put them together in order to create anything we want, such as this chair. Small objects like this can be rendered in a relatively small amount of time, approximately 30 to 40 seconds for a complete 24-bit image like this. However, rooms such as the foyer and hallway system in the 7th guest are extremely large and will take up to 20 to 40 minutes per frame to render, and there's over 1,000 frames for that whole system.
I knew Graham and Rob for several years working at Virgin Games. I had left Virgin and moved to Seattle, and they had informed me that they were planning to form their own company, so when the opportunity arose, I jumped to it. Having known them, I felt I could work competently with them. And they were originally intending to shoot the entire game with video. They were aware that I was working with 3D Studio and rendering, and they asked to see some examples of what I could do. And I produced one room, a room that was never used in the game. And it was satisfactory enough to convince us that we could get by quite well using the 3D program for the entire house while still using video for the actors.
I have always wanted to be president, possibly president of a bank. Playing with staff will be a breeze. I will surely win.
My name is Deborah Mason, and I directed the live action for the 7th guest, and I acted as the character Martine Birdie. Reach out, use the camera, roll your eyeballs. This particular type of acting is a new technology. Feature film acting has been around for about 100 years, and it's a series of angles, close-ups on the person. It's almost as if the actor is thinking the situation. With this particular type of shooting, we had the camera locked down, everything was from a long shot, a long angle, and it was difficult getting the facial emotion across. Instead of just a simple darling, we would have to use whole body movements. Darling! Similar to that with everything. In that way, it was similar to stage and having an audience. The most difficult part was staying on our mark, cueing actors to work around different positions on a stage with your virtual reality, your imagined furnaces. We had a difficult time not walking through things all the time.
Hey, maybe we really can do this. When we first got in touch with the Batman, we didn't know who the heck he was. And, we didn't know that he was larger than life or that he was such a, musical genius. But we didn't know he'd have such a big impact on the project. We thought he'd do the music.
He didn't even know who he was.
He didn't even know who he was.
We unleashed his creative potential.
Yeah, full of music.
Here I am. This is my team. I'm the Fat Man. 7th guest. Dave Garrett. Wing Commander. Lots of stuff. Phil McDermott. Baseball. Lots of other stuff. Karen Taylor. Just sits around. I've got a piano for one character. I've got an oboe for another character. I've got a muted trumpet for another character. And they're all reflecting the personality of the character. The muted trumpet is sexy. The oboe is kind of doddering. The piano is a piano bar. The circus does an organ list from a circus sideshow, and that's for the musician. And he's a serious guy, or he wants to be a mysterious guy, so it's not. Serious. Pseudo serious. It's a musical style, really.
Leaving the Fat Man in Austin, Texas, we returned to Medford, Oregon, where the sound effects and audio post-production were handled by sound designers Greg Hayes and Webb Stoughton at Stoughton Studios.
But you know, this project was pretty incredible. The sound design on it was huge, to say the least. All the sound effects we had to create, it was much like creating sound effects for a movie.
The first step, of course, is just to break down the script, go through the script with a fine-tooth comb, break it all down, and that process is really important to identify all the sonic events that the scriptwriter was envisioned, and get those clearly in mind. Again, the texture that they were envisioning and the creators envisioned, and then from there. Again, Greg would issue me lists of sound effects, and I would go on the script and see how the sound effects plugged in, and then we would literally go and say, okay, we have these effects already available to us, let's use these, but these are the ones that have to be created. For instance, some of the effects we did, one little sequence we did, we took a coconut, and we broke this coconut into multiple pieces to try and get a great head cracking sound. So when one of the guys gets slammed up against the wall, his head cracked. So it gets back to that thing of you create a very deep, rich environment for each of these areas, and that's the process of it's a layer at a time, and you got to know when to stop. You know, you can overbuild certain areas, and so you've got to find that balance.
We'd go in and we'd look at the room, so we'd say, okay, we have a room here that's, what's the estimated diameter of this room, and what does it got carpet on the floor, does it have wood on the floor, what does the ceilings look like, and we would design the delay settings or the reverb settings so that, or the echo settings, so this room would have this believable decay time.
And this room doesn't even exist. I mean, that's what's great. It's an abstract room, but yet it is a real room. You have to believe it is real.
You're the one. I'm gonna leave. Don't go away, please. Don't go away. Don't go. Don't go. No, don't go.
Bringing all these elements together and fitting them into 2 CDs requires the use of a relatively new technology known as digital compression.
Well, for the 7th guest, really, I think it's all hinged on compression technology. We take full motion digital video and a relatively high res screen, 640 by 320, and we compress it. And if you look at the original screens that we start with, they're 600K per frame. And we bring that down to less than 30K per frame so you can have full motion video streaming off of a relatively slow CD run drive. When we started this project, there wasn't any full motion video, there wasn't digital movies that were playing on the computers anywhere. We were really pioneering into that area of handling audio, handling video, handling all that. There was no tools that could handle a high resolution screen. And there's a number of animators out there that were low res. All of our images were in high res, so a lot of the tools that we use here are completely proprietary.
Basically, there were no tools for doing 7 casts when we started out on the project. And fortunately, some right ones came along and wasn't available. Very amazing.
While creating such an avant-garde software product proved challenging, Devine and Landeros expressed no regrets for undertaking this highly anticipated multimedia endeavor. In fact, everyone involved with the making of the 7th guest seemed very optimistic about the future of the industry. So we now leave you with some of their predictions for where this new medium will take us.
It's all a little bizarre right now. It can't become math whilst it's so bizarre. I think as the next few months, not even years, go by, that there's going to be such an explosion in the CD-ROM technology that that is how you're going to buy games.
Versions of gas and follow-up product, I'm sure find their way in all the platforms.